Kia ora everyone, how you going? You must think I've got not much to do in lockdown other than wander my garden and chat with you guys. But I thought I'd just put a video up about grapes. We've got a reasonable sized little mini grape area here. I guess it would be a little bit too rich to call it a vineyard. There's 8 plants and in the very early stages, so they'll need a good prune and reshaping. I have planted them in what was a 3-level garden plot when we arrived. So there's the first level. You walk down to the next level where I've got my avocado trees, and then the final level down the bottom there. But this level in particular, I thought, well, it's up against the glass houses, if you can see those there. Yeah, it's up against the glass houses, reasonable shelter, what would benefit from that. And I thought, well, you know, you've got your grapes, so this is where the grapes went. They're young plants, as I say, only a couple of years in, probably need a really good pruning and shaping. And that's something I'll have to go online and learn. Once these are shaping up and we start to get some fruit on it, it'll be very nice. I did lay some very light weed matting, and the reason I emphasize light is I think it's really important for it to break down and allow the soil to breathe. I was quite surprised this morning, we've got these little bits of fungi coming through on our wood mulch, but this mulch here is actually very light. It's just mulch from the neighbour's garden. Actually, we were trading feijoas one day, and they said, oh, we've got some garden waste that's been mulched, are you interested? And it was right when I was planning on getting rid of the weeds here. These 3 gardens over the time that we've been here have had various uses. I think when we first arrived, I found the most enormous plant. What was it? It was like silver beet, but it was like the thickness of your arm. It must have seeded and reseeded for years, and the whole area was just an absolute mess. So we restored it. I planted it out the first maybe season or 2, but with moving to a new city, moving to Dunedin here, and the 4 children, different activities and busyness of life and work in general, I have to say it declined in its effectiveness. So then I thought, well, it'd be great to get some berries off it. So I replaced the whole thing in strawberries and grafted some raspberry canes. Well, not grafted, I actually grabbed some from my brother. Actually, there's some late raspberries. Don't tell the kids. Yeah, might give them a day. Look, every time I say if I'm going to give them a day or 2 more, I come back and the birds have got them. So no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, it's reasonably alright. Oh, a little bit tangier than I normally enjoy them. But anyway, so this whole area really got away with the berries. Very healthy, but out of control again. So rather than let it weigh on me and it's another job to do, I decided that this was the best way forward. So each of the terraces has a different purpose, and let's have a look at these grape vines now. Oh, so all I did was I knew they needed a bit of support, so I've just got a pretty basic stake here. Obviously it's going to need to be replaced at some point. And I just simply drilled through there, ran some garden twine through and along at 3 different levels. All needs a bit of a tighten up and a sort out, if I'm being honest. So that's that, and then I planted the first plant here, and I waited and I fed it alternate weeks through the growing season, so that we could get this nice strong shooting. But now that I'm looking along here, actually, it's a bit of damage on this one. I must do a bit of reading and find out what this is about, because it's starting at the end and it seems to be working its way back along a bit. Ah, there it goes. Is that thrips? What's that? Don't want those on there anyway. I must find him and deal with him. because we don't, yep, there he goes. Right, don't want that. In fact, I think I'll probably end up taking this damaged off, probably back to this new growth here. So yeah, so quite healthy. So this vine has probably done, oh, a metre this season, probably a metre each way. I mean, they were just brand new in the garden here this season. Right along the end here, we've got another plant, and where's the roots? Here we go, down in here. You can possibly see the roots in there. And so then it runs, the main stem runs to this joint here, and then comes along that runner. So again, lots of good healthy growth, and actually it's extending beyond the garden here. So I'll have to think about what I'm going to do with that, whether I swing it back round, back down and onto one of the other levels, or if I actually shape it in and take it to a growth point here. So I'll have a look at those as the foliage comes down, foliage starts to come off. And then around, I've got a second stake that runs the other side here, just behind my my avocado trees. And similarly, I mean, this plant probably hasn't done quite as well, but maybe a bit of its growth ended up on the other side and I just need to train it along, I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's grapevine number 3. This is number 4 here. So, you know, I actually think this one's been significantly affected by the fact that it's right in against my tamarillo trees there. Well, there's a bit of weeding in there, so yeah, I'll get rid of that. But yeah, this one's not quite as strong. Now, the one interesting thing is down next to the shed there we did think that we would grow our grapevines up and over that. So we've got one vine that's doing that, but the vine at the other corner closest us here completely died. And so I thought, I'll replace that. So I replaced it, and it was just as I was getting the idea together for this area here. So I replaced it, and then I thought, well, actually, I'm not going to plant that down there now. I'm going to lift it. So I probably did that September last year, just at the beginning of our summer, and was hopeful because I'd lifted it not touching the roots or anything, and I popped it in here. This is this one here. It, for all intents and purposes, completely died. Let's have a look. And then after about 4 months, it started to shoot again. So here we go. That dead looking patch in the back there. And actually, I was hopeful, and I tied it this way and tied it this way. But in fact, it completely died. So, as with anything in life, you give it enough time, it'll tell you what it wants to do. So I left it, and over time, we just saw these new shoots. I thought, well, it's not going to hurt me for it to stay in the ground for a year and see what it wants to do. So it came back for me, which I was very pleased about. So looking forward to seeing some grapevines coming on here. So from my backyard to yours, place any questions or comments in the comment section below, and subscribe if you want to hear more about how I'm going to deal with my grapevines. There could be a part 2 coming. I actually think we need to have a look at what's damaging this. I actually think it could be thrips. So these leaves, there's a bit of dying in here. I'll have another post about that, and we'll have a look and see if we can get these grapevines looking healthy again. Kia ora. Bye.